Thank you, Chemtech EPC, for giving us this opportunity to speak at this event. Let me bring up my presentation so that we can get started. As the topic of this presentation says, that Indian construction techniques to reach at par with international technology for EPC. I was intrigued because almost in every other field, we are well and at par with international stuff on how we are doing. But when we started looking at digital, and you see a lot of examples of digital in retail, in hospitality, in travel, in all other industry sectors. And that begs the question that how do digital technologies help the construction industry? And can digital technologies be applied to the construction world at all? And if you look at EPC, construction is a significant part of what is EPC. And you've heard Nilesh and Manish speak about engineering and procurement. And that brings us logically to the next part of the EPC, which is construction. So what is the construction world today? If you look at what the construction world is going through, you will find that construction projects are getting larger, bigger, and complex. These are a couple of pictures from some of the iconic structures that L&T has built, and whether a construction project is an infrastructure, road, railway project, whether it is a large structure or a building, or whether it is something as big as the world's tallest statue, which is the Statue of Unity, or a hydrocarbon project that is building an oil well platform. One common thread across all these platforms are that as we go along, these projects are getting larger, they are getting bigger, they take longer time to do, and they have innumerable complexities both within and outside the project. And which is what all the more reason that all these projects need some help to do better and achieve. Ultimately, the final goal of any project is to be delivered on time and within the budget. So when we looked at a digital transformation at L&T, which is for our construction division and our projects division, and we said, let's look at what can digital do. And we realized that we have to, if we want to make an impact, we have to look at everything across the entire value chain of construction and look at what are the relevant tools that can be used in every one of these functions so that we can improve the whole process of construction. So here is on this page, you can see a couple of the most important and significant functions in a construction project. So everything that you build on this earth is built on land or water. So there is a geography on which you build the structure. So the first thing that you do is a survey to ascertain what is the nature of the topography, the land. If you're building something in water, then you have to see the depth of the water. You have to do some things about the ocean seabed. So you need to know where are you building. And given the conditions of what you're building, and then do your engineering on top of what you know where you are building, the soil conditions, the water conditions, or whatever you have. So from there to survey, you come into design and engineering. And then once you have done the design and engineering and you got a sense of what you're going to build, then you procure and you manage your materials. And then when all these things are there, then you actually get into project execution. And when you're going to execute a project, it obviously involves machinery, it involves labor, and it involves materials. Every one of these components, the optimal utilization of these and how you use them makes a significant difference to how do you execute a project. And while you are executing a project, you need to take care of safety in all aspects of our men, the way you construct, the way you design and everything. And a project has to be delivered to the exacting requirements of top class quality. So you need to make sure that what you deliver and construct meets all the requirements of safety and quality. And then you need to do some very, very excellent project management to make sure that you continuously monitor where are you with respect to the project, what have you delivered, where is it going, and then do some project monitoring to make sure that you know where you stand, apply rectification and correction measures, and then make sure that you deliver the project on or before time within the cost, which is why you also need to keep monitoring the costs of the project so that you don't go off budget. Very often, if you build efficiencies into every one of these projects and you keep the project on track and deliver it on time, you will find that a lot of the project cost gets automatically met in the process of keeping it on schedule and delivering it on time. And once you've delivered the project, today, a lot of these projects also come with an operations and maintenance requirement. And so what you have built needs to be maintained, needs to be operated. And so you have a lot of things relating to O&M that you can do. So the conclusion that we came to is that if you want to make digital transform the construction industry, you need to look at every one of these functions. And the good news is that we found that in every one of these functions, there are technologies, there are digital solutions, there are process changes that you can do, and then make every one of these processes efficient and bring them all together to take the industry to the best technology levels that could be there anywhere in the world. As construction companies in India and elsewhere, there's a common thread of thinking on all this, and we've had the opportunity to interact with a lot of companies. So what we shall do is that we can spend a couple of minutes on every one of these functions and see how technology solutions have transformed how these activities are done. So if you look at the first beginning of the value chain, where you are doing a survey to determine what is the geography on which you are building either an irrigation system, or you're building an airport, or you're building a road, or you're building a refinery, whatever it be. So the traditional method was to use very conventional survey instruments. It involved a lot of people going with carrying those instruments on tripods and then doing everything. It was expensive, time consuming, tedious. People had to go into very unhospitable terrain, put the surveyors to risks. And then at the end of doing all that effort, what you got was only a reasonable approximation. But now today, we have a whole bunch of technology devices that enable you not only to improve the accuracy, but also execute it in a fraction of a time. So you see a couple of pictures. We have multiple methods of scanning. You can use images from satellites. You can use photogrammetry images. You can use 3D scanning using a laser or a radar or a sonar wave. So you use different varieties of radio frequency waves to scan the environment. And from that environment, you get a very dense, accurate point cloud on which you can do measurements and get the entire geography digitally on your screen. So, which is what we have done at L&T, that for every project that we do, we carry out these surveys using a variety of these technologies, and we create a digital geography of that site, which is available to the project team. And so you get information about this without having to periodically going on visiting the site to see what it is. So here is a very simple representation of all these technologies. So the platform on which you do the scanning, do you use it using a terrestrial machine? Do you mount the scanner on top of a SUV or a car? Do you use a drone if it is a short flight near the Earth? Or if it is a large area, then do you put it on a helicopter or an unmanned aerial vehicle or a manned plane? Or if you need a slightly lesser accuracy, can you use a satellite image? And if these are the platforms that we are using them, And then you can also decide what kind of sensors. Is it a LiDAR that takes a 3D image, or is it an optical picture on which you can apply the photogrammetry technology to get it? Or do you use radar, or if you do use a sonar if you're doing something on the water? And then by using all this, you can get topographic surveys, spatial analysis, quantity estimations. You can do location and navigation and do hydrographic surveys. You can map utilities below the surface. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do with this. Now, having done this, you build applications on top of it. We built a geodata bank that tells us what is where. We create a digital geography so that the project site can refer to the geography while the project is in execution. We can map what are the right of way, the obstructions and hurdles that are there in the project, and how do we develop a system to systematically remove the obstructions, taking appropriate clearances and consultations with the client. And then finally, we use everything and depict them on a map so that even a progress monitoring becomes very viable because you're going to see it on a map. And that's so much about geospatial technologies. After doing the survey, you start doing the design and engineering. I'm not going to labor this point because you heard an excellent presentation from Worley on this. So the world has moved away from making drawings on paper to drafting to doing them completely digital. And it is very standard practice today now to develop a 3D model. While design went from normal to 3D, today we have integrated 3D drawings, which means that there is the whole engineering and design is in a common data environment. So it's just not the model or the drawing, but the drawing encapsulates the data relating to all the elements that go into the design. And so by adopting all these techniques, your building information modeling becomes a very beautiful foundation on which you do the rest of the construction. The design in a 3D model goes to the next step when you can use a virtual reality platform and simulate the whatever structure you are constructing even before you go to the site, because you build it virtually. And by using the virtual reality glasses, you can actually walk into the building and experience what the structure is going to look like even before you have constructed that. So I think this is one of the greatest advancements made in this field, that design and engineering today is completely digital. It can also be concurrent. We can have multiple engineering companies collaborate on building the design. And once the structure is done, after that, if you have to do the MEP, if you have to do the HVAC, and you have to do all the other piping and fitting and everything, we can build all of that layer by layer on every building, every model, and use elements of augmented reality to see that, okay, you've completed the civil structure. And after that, you are now going to lay out either the piping or the cable trays or the HVAC on it. Can we use augmented reality to overlay what we have done on the civil structure? And then you can simulate everything, make sure that things are okay before you actually get into constructing it. That is about engineering. Now, from there, if you go to materials, we heard Manish spoke about how to improve the overall procurement and make cost savings and make sure you get deliveries on time. How do you link procurement to demand? How do you link procurement to what you have done in engineering? And all that is done. Very often, if you find that even after doing all that, and then you have an ERP, a lot of the value cycle stops when you receive the goods at the store, and then you make a GRN and then you pay the vendor. The materials in a construction site travel much further beyond just the construction store. So after you get them in the site store, you have to issue them to a contractor, the subcontractor, you have to move them to a particular location. You have to join it with a few other things. You have to actually install it, and then you have to track it. So today, using technologies like QR code, RFID, GPS, LoRa, and a combination of mobile apps, we have done at L&T a whole bunch of material tracking solutions that take off, after the work that is done by the ERP. And these are all specific to each kind of project. And you see some pictures here. That's the underground tunnel of a metro where the precast rings are tracked. That's for power transmission. And also we use 3D scanning to estimate the volumes of a stockpile of sand or cement or coal or any of the bulk materials that we have in a construction site. Similar solution of tracking the bronze panels of the Statue of Unity using RFID was also developed, which was one of the things that enabled us to deliver that project on time. So material tracking at the last mile at the site till it's completed also becomes a very useful input into project monitoring, because it actually tells you that what arrived at the site finally got put together and installed. Another thing, so you come from there after having procured the material and brought them to the site, you come into actually project execution. Now, one of the things that we have found is that from the days of doing everything in the construction manually, today in every construction site, we deploy a very large number of equipment that enables us to automate a lot of the manual work that was being done in the site, whether it is pouring concrete or grading a road or doing any of these things. So one of the things that we said is that given the fact that use of equipment and machinery enables a very significant improvement in the way we do construction, how would it be if we are able to monitor and improve the performance of these machines significantly from what we have done? One of the things that you will find in a construction site in the construction industry is that a lot of the construction sites are remote. They're also nomadic. You go to a site, you work there, you fit something for a couple of years, and then you pick up everything and move to another site. And one of the things that management or people who are controlling the project would want to know is the visibility about what's happening at the site. Are there bottlenecks? Can we go and release some of them and expedite this? So if you look at how we are using the machines, so we use technology of the Internet of Things, and if every construction equipment that is out there on the field, if it has connectivity, if you put IoT on the industrial asset, you connect the gateway device on the machine to hundreds of sensors that are there in the machine, and then you connect the gateway to the cloud, you develop a whole, you do some processing on the edge, you develop connectivity, you get the data to an IoT platform, and then you can get a dashboard. So today, during our digitalization journey, we had connected over 11,000 assets across about 500 construction sites, and these equipment stream data to the central cloud dashboard, untouched by hand, automatically. So you know precisely at what time an equipment started working, how much of output did it produce. If it was a concrete batching plant, you get to know for how many hours did it work, how many cubic meter of concrete did it pour. If it is a crane, how many movements did it do in the day, how many tons of material did it lift, and what distance did it move. And likewise, for a motor grader, a wheel loader, an earth moving machine, or a diesel generator, every kind of machine reports on the dashboard what is the work that is done by the machine and what has been the utilization percentage of the machine. And all the data that you get from the machine on the operating parameters like temperature and pressure and vibration and so on and so forth enables you to look at the patterns of how the operating conditions of the machine are and look at what kind of maintenance does it need and how can we predict and make sure that the uptime of that machine is maintained so that it can deliver value to the project. So once we have connected the machine and we are able to see what is the utilization of the machine and make sure that we improve that utilization, we look at the next important element into project execution, which is labor. So one of the things is that, again, in everything you go through the entire value chain, you have to first source labor. In a large country, getting skilled manpower is still not an easy task. So we developed an app for how do we mobilize labor. Then after we mobilize labor, how do we induct them into the workforce? How do we note the different skills and the certifications and the experience and the trainings. The idea is actually to make the worker safe, to make the worker knowledgeable, to make the worker skilled, and make sure that the worker delivers good productivity and quality in all the work that they do. So a whole bunch of solutions on the worker induction, the database of the skills and certifications of the worker to make sure that the right worker does the right job. And you get all the data again about the worker collected either through a wearable device. We also monitor the health of the worker using certain wearables or before the pre-medical checkup, and you get all that data, and then you make sure that you know the worker, you take care of his health, and make sure that we do everything to make him productive and skilled. And you get all that data pooled into the input from these devices and the mobile apps that the site engineers use comes into the cloud and gets shown to the project manager on a dashboard. Safety is very important. One of the things that you need to do in construction to make sure that you keep your workers safe. And so we found that digital gave us a new capability. Workers have always been trained before, but digital gave us a new dimension into training workers using virtual reality. You can keep on telling the workers that when you're working at heights, please clip your harness, and then you have to do this and follow a safe standard protocol in every kind of work that you do. We created a storyboard giving the worker an immersive experience using a very simple VR glass. And today we have trained over 70,000 workers. There is a VR glass, a couple of VR glasses that have been supplied to every construction site, and the site engineer administers these 2.5 minute immersive safety videos on the immersive glass to the workers. A lot of these, we have developed about 40 of such modules talking about working at heights, working in confined spaces, working while we are excavating, working while you are reversing a vehicle, a whole variety of scripts that our safety department prepared and gave to us. And these have all been converted into 2-3 minute virtual reality films. And we have seen a very significant improvement in the compliance by the workers to the safety processes. And on a very philosophical side, we have also seen the workers express happiness to us, saying that when we really experience what it is to use a safety process and not use a safety process, it makes us feel happy that the company cares for our safety. So that's about safety. We are also using, we have surveillance cameras in most of our sites, and the camera is continuously 24/7 seeing what is happening at the site. The aspects of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and computer vision have progressed significantly in the past couple of years. Today, the camera can be trained to not just blindly see, but to recognize images that the camera is seeing. So we have trained the camera to look at, okay, is the worker wearing all the PPE that he's supposed to wear? During the COVID times, the camera also can detect whether we are following a social distancing norm. It can detect any unsafe condition as we go on training it on different varieties of unsafe condition. If you have an excavated pit and you don't have a barricade around it, the system will recognize that and send an alert to the safety inspector saying that looks like there is something not there, and then you can do it. All that safety data is also analyzed to see what are the non-conformities that are getting repeated, which safety engineer is performing better, what are the most commonly repeated safety incidents, and then you use all that data to improve your processes to make safety better at the site. We have, I think project management is a much touted topic. We have multiple technology tools, beginning from a scheduling tool like Primavera, and then the whole integration of engineering with software management with from 3D BIM to 4D to 5D has made project management a very significant digitally driven activity. We developed an application called ProCube that enables site engineers to actually capture what is the progress, report it every day on the mobile app, and then we superimpose that with the schedule that is maintained in a scheduling software, overlay it on top of the 3D model and show progress as to physically where exactly the project is with respect to where we should have been. Now we come to, after having completed the project, operations and maintenance is also another area where every one of the activities relating to operations maintenance, whether it is HVAC, whether it is monitoring, lighting, security, fire safety, HVAC, every one of them can be integrated into a smart building management system. And if you are building a water pipeline or an electric station, you link it with the PLCs and the SCADA, and then you have a complete reporting of what happens at the site. And operations and maintenance can be done with minimal manual input, not deploying hundreds of people at the site, but remotely through a dashboard, you can monitor a lot of the O&M activities. Now, all these digital solutions across the entire value chain, many of these solutions, they have become a very rich source of data, much beyond what data that is generally available in an ERP. Now, all this data gets pumped into a data warehouse and a data lake, and then you suddenly realize that putting all this data together, either whether it is individual data coming from an IoT system about a machinery, or data that is coming from the procurement system about how much cement did I supply to that site, vis-a-vis how much concrete did it produce, and then you have opportunities for doing a variety of analytics on this. And as we get deeper and deeper into the analytics, you can get into more insights on what are the contributory factors that are providing some results. And then you have a whole world of analytics that can provide a gold mine of information for the people who are managing the project and the costs and everything else. And once you have all that data, and data not just from one project, but from hundreds of projects there, you put all them together, you develop patterns, and then you can attempt to do some prediction on the project is today at this stage. I have information about what is the capacity of the equipment that I have in this site. I have information about what has been my record of mobilizing labor. I know information about what is the material availability and intended material availability for the site. I have information about the weather pattern at that site. Can I put all that together and do a multivariate analysis and say, given the conditions today, the project will be at XYZ stage 6 months from the line, down the line. And if you don't think that that is where you want the project to be 6 months down the line, and you start looking at what corrective action should you do? Should you increase the number of machinery that you have? Should you speed up some material arrivals? And a whole bunch of corrective actions can be taken by the management to bring it back on shape and then get to a desired point. So the whole conversation when you have a digitally enabled construction industry is that you don't struggle to find out where you are, but you invest your effort to get to where you want to be, to overcome whatever hurdles that may come in the process of construction. That's the beauty of getting to complete the digital solutions that you have across the board, bringing them all together into a data lake, and then running analytics and AI on it to get to the next level. So I want to sum up by saying that we walk through solutions and possibilities in all these functions that we have. Digital solutions can help improve every little function of construction and take construction really to an absolutely digitally enabled global level that will set a benchmark of not associating every infrastructure project with delays and cost overruns, and help build a better world. When you are using digital processes, you are optimizing the consumption of material. You are spending just the amount of time that you need to function. So when you are doing all this, you're also spending less energy. and also help sustain the environment and build a sustainable world. That is another benefit of being digital on this. So that is what I had to share. The summary is that the application of digital technology is not some kind of a dream. It is here and it is now. Companies like mine have seen the implementation of digital solutions across all these functions, and we have seen success. The operating people at the site have adopted to these solutions. There is a bit of change management that you have to do to propagate, to get the support from the management. But once you've delivered some value, today you will find that the operating people are able to appreciate it. And now we are sitting on a fairly large demand of more digital solutions to be developed. And as technologies like AI keep developing, and we'll find that there is more and more to do. And I have no doubt that Indian construction is already at par with international technology for EPC. So thank you very much for giving us an opportunity and listening to me. Happy to hand over back to Mitra.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
So there are 4 questions. First is, have you ever used robotic welding machine that can fabricate piping spool directly from 3D model without using isometric drawing?
Okay, this is a very specific question, which probably will take, but I'll provide a generic answer. One of the next stages of using digital in construction, and of course, I know this is more a manufacturing question. So have robotic welding machines been used? Yes. At L&T, we have a number of factories where we are using robotic welding machines for a variety of applications. Have we used robotic welding machines for spooling? Can we do welding directly from a 3D? Is a very specific question. I take that offline and connect the speaker to the person who is running my spooling factory.
Sir, the next question is, what is your experience of using digitally connected robotic crane that can erect piping spool on pipe rack or technology structure?
I think it's the same answer. I don't think, see today, even what we are doing with cranes, today we are only monitoring the performance of the crane. I'm talking about large gantry cranes and other cranes, the crawler mounted cranes that we are doing at construction. The initial, you have to do an evaluation in applying the digital technology, right? So the way we went about it was that first connect the equipment, get the data from the equipment, and remotely operating a construction equipment is not yet the norm. We will get to it later. There are safety concerns. You'll have to take care of them. In a controlled factory, we have inside a factory, we can have robotic welding machines that do welding automatically. It is possible in a nicely controlled environment. I'm not sure exactly if you're talking about doing spooling and welding in probably a refinery or oil. We'll have to look at a specific case and see what is the purpose and what is the feasibility of doing something like that.
So there are 2 more questions. By using digital tool, how can you track which welding joint is done by a specific qualified welder?
So this is not just complete automation. These are what we call as linkages, right? So there is a machine, there is an object that is to be welded. There is a human being who's a welder who's doing the weld. Now you need to develop a wholesome solution that gives this job a number. And then you say this is a job order number. So and so it is done on so and so mission. And there is a worker allocation mechanism that happens on the floor saying that okay, this job is assigned to this XYZ welder. And then there are tools issued for the job. The job is monitored. And then you know that who did what weld. And you probably have a seam number or a weld number and you do something. So it's not just one magic wand that will tell you all this. we develop a holistic solution that goes through this entire process of how do you commission a weld, what are the ingredients, the man, the machine, the labor, the object, the number, and you put all that together on a mobile app, give it to the site, give it to the engineer, and then one additional piece of information that we can give you is that we are also doing a couple of pilots to evaluate how can I look at the quality of the weld by using computer vision and a few other characteristics to see whether I can do inspection, automate the process of inspection and detecting a not so satisfactory weld. That is another technology that is getting shaped up, and there is some pilot work being done on it.
So the last question is, what software tool do you use for project risk management? Is it integrated with scheduling tool like Primavera?
There is a company-wide risk management tool that has been implemented. It does risk management at a very broad level. There is also another tool that is associated with the 3D BIM, that when you develop an integrated common data environment for engineering, and supposing you have to place a structure, you can also integrate the elements of risk inside the common data environment and say, as a part of doing a certain activity, you also do risk associated. It's not necessarily have to be integrated with the schedule, because the schedule is just a question of when are you doing it. So you integrate risk management with the building model and with the procedure that is associated with creating a structure or making something, and so that all that is available in one place, and the person who is directing that effort of doing something is able to source the risk and the management of that in that same environment. That is, again, a couple of pilots that we have done using the BIM technology.